What's up, guys? Just here with the landcruiser today, troubleshooting oil pressure gauge issue. It's a oil pressure gauge not working, or showing below the low level. I'll show you some areas to look out for. What you want to check is, so it looks like the previous owner already messed with it, but first thing is check these wires, make sure they're not corroded or shorted out. Check this connection right here, make sure it's good, it's got a good solid connection in there. Check these wires all the way back up there, make sure this is plugged in, obviously. Another main thing is to check that goes to the AC compressor. I'll try to get a better video. Right there. Let's see. You can see it. It's kind of loose, but that's just the clip. The actual connection is right there. Make sure that's clean. Let's see. I'm trying to zoom in on it, but this one's just dusty. It's not dirty or corroded. But yeah, just make sure all that's good. Also, your oil pressure sender is that shiny thing right there. You can see I got corrosion on one of my wires. Doesn't look very good at all. But those two clips, you want to make sure they're pretty solid. They're well connected, especially that center one. Alright, so if you checked all that and your oil pressure gauge is still not working, this is the next step. So you're going to want to take off your cluster, which is pretty simple. It's pretty easy. It's not that hard. You got, obviously it doesn't look like this when you take it off, but I already went a step ahead. Okay, so there's this piece right here. My car's a mess right now, but there's this piece. Pull this out. There's just clips. It's not bolted down. Just make sure you're careful with it. Man, my phone sucks at this moment. Anyways, you pull that out, and then you got 4 bolts holding your cluster in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I noticed that I only had 3 bolts or screws, whatever, holding my cluster in. So, you know, something was messed with before. Maybe it was an alarm system that I installed, because it does have an alarm that I noticed. But anyways, take all that off, pull the cluster off, unplug it from the back, obviously, and I will show you here next. Okay, it's out now. I found it easiest to pull it out to the left, like so. Like, once you get it out, pull it out to the left. And what you're gonna be unscrewing on the back half of this, there's like 4 plugs, I think. Just those 4 plugs. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna be working, once you flip it around, you're gonna be working on this area. And it's these 3 bolts, these screws. So you undo those. Okay, once those 4 bolts, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said 3 or 4, but it's those 4 bolts. Once those are unscrewed, this pulls out. Be very gentle with it. It is going to bend the side of the RPMs cluster, but it just pops out. Now, I highly recommend you wash your hands, get all the grease off your hands, or you can have fingerprints all over these faces. So last thing you want is fingerprints all over your gauge cluster when you're done putting it back together. Oh, and I forgot, obviously, you gotta pry this off. It's not hard either. There's just like 8 There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 tabs all around. You can see them right there. That tab, these top tabs, and these bottom tabs. Just be gentle. Take your time. Treat it like really brittle plastic, because it pretty much is. Last thing you want to do is crack it all up. But anyways, just be real gentle when taking that off. Be real gentle when taking any of this stuff off, because it's hard to find these parts nowadays. If it's not hard, then it's expensive. But anyways, so before, my gauge cluster was sitting down there at the low, at the L, my oil pressure. So I got it to kind of start going up a little more. So if you take a look, let me see if I can get a better. So if you take a look, try to zoom in on the piece of metal. No, it's not working, sorry. Anyways, you can bend this. Sometimes the resistance is just, it might show that it's good when you test for resistance, and to do all that you get an FSM and then just follow the instructions. It's real simple. But there's this tab in the back. I'm trying to point it to it. Let me flip it around. It might be easier. This tab, there it is. The one with the, it looks like there's plastic melted to it or whatever. So that was popped out. That's one thing. I guess they pop out. So I don't know how it popped out. Maybe the original owner did something that you try to fix or something, but it slides into that plastic piece. Sorry guys, it slides right in there. You see how that little plastic tab right here, you see the metal piece that slides right into it. It's supposed to slide right into there, and it's supposed to, when it's off, when your engine's off, it's supposed to sit on the last line, which I got it pretty much there, not below it. So if it's below it, mess with this. What you can do is you can mess with this metal tab right here and just push it, kind of bend it to where your oil pressure gauge is on the bottom line. Once you get it there, even if it's within specs on resistance and all that, whatever it tells you to measure on the FSM, I didn't do all that. I skipped all that and just went straight to looking at the gauge cluster. But even if it's within specs, try bending this up a little, because it'll, for some reason, it's worked for a lot of other people. So just try bending that. You can bend this tab right there, the metal tab without all the wiring wrapped around it. You can bend that. See how it goes up? Just bend it to where your needle is right at the last line, at the right above the L. So yeah, do that, and it should work for you. I'll show you a clip. Also, I'm gonna show a little clip of just me screwing in these screws, just so you know which ones it is. I already screwed this one up top to hold the gauge cluster in place for me. So you just these 4, and it should pop out. You might have to pry it just a tad, not very much, and it'll pop out. Also, one more thing, check these for any signs of corrosion. Usually they don't have any signs of corrosion. And also check your clip. Make sure all your wires are good. Make sure they're not, brittle, and just make sure they're good. Make sure they're all in snug. Make sure there's no corrosion in these terminals. Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to make a video to help you guys with landcruiser stuff. If you got a problem with your landcruiser oil pressure gauge, I'm going to try to kind of show you guys what are some areas. Gauge cluster is also, if you want to clean your cluster, now's your chance. If you have dust all over it, I recommend lint-free microfiber towel and very, very, very little soap. Just water and very, very little soap, because I don't know if this white and all that will wash off. So, yep. Let me just put this on. Actually, I'm gonna wipe this off. Just cause. Just insert this back on. I didn't check this. Whatever. I don't care if it works or not. I mean, I do, but it's not really bugging me right now. I know it will one day. Push these clips in. These are the clips you take off. But you push these in. You can hear it snapping into place. Just press on it. Mine's a little scratched, but it's clean. Took this grommet off, cleaned it off real nice. And yeah, that's it. You just put it back in. It's whole. Like that. Here's just a quick clip of me putting everything back together and just, well, before I put everything back together, excuse me, just making sure everything works. Excuse the exhaust leak. You can see now the gauge is working. It wasn't before at all. Now it's working. And yeah, that's it. That's how it works. I guess I hope I can help somebody with this video. If you have any other questions, just leave it in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I hope this really helps somebody. I'll see you later, guys.